Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette.
Hey guys, what's up? It's TenneyBox here. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Pokemon Go and why I think the game was doomed to fail. So for those of you that don't know what Pokemon Go is, I beg of you to come out of that rock that you have been living under for the past year and a half, 2 years. Because this game was the most trendy game over, was it already 2 summers ago? Holy cow, there's no way that's true. Anyways, for those of you that don't know what Pokemon Go is, like I said, get out from under the rock you've been living in and go download the app. And I want to know your guys' thoughts on it. Obviously, 99% of you have already played it. Obviously, I have too because I'm making this video. And based on the title of this video, you're probably assuming that I didn't like it that much. And you'd be right to expect that. Because as a Pokemon fan, I mean, I've loved Pokemon my entire life. I've had all the Game Boy games, all the DS games. I'm still working on playing through the 3DS games. I still have to play through X and Y in Black and White. But I've recently played through Sun and Moon, or just Ultra Moon, I guess. But Pokemon Go is the least Pokemon game that I think I've ever played in my entire life. And I've played through, what's that, the photography one's like Pokemon Snap or something where you take pictures of Pokemon. I think I had more fun playing that back in the day than I had playing this game. And I'm going to go over some of the reasons why I think that in this video. This video isn't going to be scripted. I have all my ideas written down. So if I stutter or if I say something or repeat myself on accident, just know that this video is more of me talking to you guys rather than just me scripting it out heavily. Because I do care about Pokemon quite a bit. Obviously, I wouldn't be making this video if I didn't. And yeah, obviously I could have hopped on the clickbait train and just made this video a year ago and it was super popular, but I decided to give it a solid year, right? Oh boy, where do I start? So, for me, I live in a pretty rural area. I'm not near a city. I mean, I'd have to drive 20 to 30 minutes to get to a nearby town that's semi-big. So, this game is already dead on arrival for me because there's one Pokestop away from me, which is about a mile from where I live, which obviously isn't too bad of a walk. It's obviously a lot of healthy exercise, but that Pokestop is a church, and I don't feel comfortable walking to a church, especially if I play it at night or something. I don't know, I just feel like it's disrespectful. That's just me, though. I mean, obviously, other people have different sets of morals, but I'm pretty sure this one that you have to go to is, directly in the church's parking lot, so it's, kind of, I don't know. It just felt very, very rude, in my opinion. You can have your own opinions on that. I just don't like doing that. So, it's kind of dead on arrival for me for that reason. So, you can't get any Pokeballs. The only reason I would go, or the only way to get Pokeballs is going out of town, or just, driving somewhere with a friend, which is kind of fun, obviously, if you're tagging up with a friend. But that brings us to my next complaint, is there aren't enough features with friends. Yeah, they had the raids or whatever, but those weren't fun. I didn't feel like I was actually contributing something with my friends. I felt like we were just awkwardly standing in a circle, clicking randomly, which is fine, I guess, to a certain extent, if that were just, some base game features. But I was expecting at least a year in to have some sort of battling system with friends, I don't know. If you dangle this Pokemon thing in front of my face in the year 2016, I think it was at the time, or 2017, whatever year it came out, and the game doesn't even have battling, I don't know, it just feels very fake. It feels like a fake Pokemon game, if that makes any sense. Longtime fans know what I'm talking about. You have to have that kind of competitive edge to playing a Pokemon game. It's just how it works. I don't know, I felt like I was extremely disappointed in that regard. And the next thing I want to talk about is microtransactions in the form of Pokeballs and potions and stuff like that. Obviously, every mobile game has to have microtransactions to survive, which I don't agree with, but I can totally understand it. So it's one of those things where I understand, but I just don't like. I can understand it more for mobile games than I do for AAA titles that just heavily focus on microtransactions. Obviously, I'm a little bit more forgiving of the mobile apps as they don't usually have payments in them, Pokemon Go, for example, is a free game, so I can understand it. But I felt like there weren't enough Pokeballs given out, and especially, every 5 minutes or something. A lot of people, when they go to a Pokestop, they're not going to be sticking around that area for like a solid hour grinding Pokeballs. Like some people have. Like I've been to a concert before where it's been there, and I've been like, okay, like a year ago, I was like, alright, I'll just turn it on every 5 minutes and get it. Which is fine, but those opportunities, like I said, occurred like far in between rather than like constantly. So it was very hard for me, at least, especially in like the first 6 months of the game, to have any sort of Pokeball on me at all times. And then of course the Pokemon appear when you don't have Pokeball, so it's like, oh, wow, that's great. And that's another thing I want to talk about, is the catch rates in this game are stupid. I know that there's some skill and strategy to it, but I feel like a lot of times, like, the most asinine of Pokemon would just break out of the ball for no apparent reason other than just to piss you off. And then, of course, they have the running feature, which is different than, like, the Game Boy and DS games. For the most part, I know that the legendaries flee and stuff in some cases, but you can have a Psyduck for all the money in the world, and it could still just run away and just, it's so annoying. I don't know, I hated the catch rates in the game. The next thing I want to talk about is Niantic blocking off external sites that use like the Pokecatchers, not the Pokecatchers, but the Pokemon Pokédex finder. Basically, would tell you like where a Gyarados is or a Psyduck or whatever it is, and yeah, you could actually plan your adventures out based on that, which I thought was freaking fantastic. But you know who didn't think it was freaking fantastic? Niantic, and this is a small company to begin with that's working with Nintendo to make this game, so. I mean, I can understand why they'd be kind of hesitant to have people have like a little cheat for their game. So I can understand that more than I don't understand it, but it's just one of those things that some players just wanted one nice thing with this game and they really couldn't let anybody have it. And it honestly kind of took it away. Like, I didn't use them that much, the Finder. I thought it was something cool that could have totally just lifted the game for me in regards of like rating it, but I just don't. They didn't allow it. Another thing I want to talk about is the terrible candy to walking ratio. So I obviously didn't play the game for that long. I played it for a few, like probably the first 8 to 9 months before I kind of just saw through the crap and I was just like, you know what, this isn't really the game for me. Obviously, it's fun walking around and getting like a little reward for it. I mean, obviously, that was like one of the biggest driving forces why I played it for so long. But every time, for like the first 9 months to a year, however long it was, I felt like I was walking for the wrong reasons. Like, I still go on walks and bike rides and stuff, like during the summer when it's not freaking 8 degrees outside. But playing Pokemon Go, I just almost oftentimes shut it off, because if I were going on a bike ride, it would say it'd be going too fast. If I were walking, I just felt super awkward and out of my element, just sitting down with my phone, being like, oh yay, I walked 2 kilometers to get a Pidgey, and that happened to me so many times. Like, I just get the worst things. And obviously, you're gonna get the worst things, because it's like one of the things where it's built on a pay-to-win transaction, not pay-to-win, microtransaction sort of thing, where, hey, you can get this thing to hatch more eggs at the same time. Like, okay, fine, whatever, I don't care. Another thing I want to talk about is bad servers. Now, obviously, this isn't that big of a deal anymore, but when the game first came out, it first launched, it was the worst servers ever. It was so bad. I could barely play the game, especially with friends. It was super disappointing. And it was just one of those things where we would get together, like last year when it came out, or 2 years ago, whenever it came out. I'm too tired to think of when it came out, but we would just get together, turn our phones on, and like, oh hey, the game's not working, the servers are down, and then be extremely bored, and we'd end up like watching YouTube or just going on a bike ride or something, because it's more fun than playing a broken game. At least back then it was. And another thing I want to talk about, I know I've mentioned this a little bit earlier, this game isn't even the same ballpark as other games. Like, you could play Pokemon Red, Pokemon Yellow, like Game Boy Color games, and you're going to get 9 times more fun out of it than with Pokemon Go. And the reason why that is because there are actually gameplay elements in those Pokemon games. With Pokemon Go, there is no gameplay element. You walk, you get screwed over, you have server connection issues, you can barely play with friends, and I understand that there have been new features added to the game a year in, or 2 years in. I don't even know what it is. I apologize, I don't know. I probably should have looked it up at the very least before recording this video, but I digress. It's just one of those things where I just can't take it seriously, because it's not even in the same ballpark as a Game Boy Color game. And when you set up these expectations, you should at least deliver to the bare minimum, and I think what they gave was less than minimum, to be honest, because I felt like we weren't even getting a Pokemon game. what we're getting is a walking simulator with the Pokemon skin theme on it. But anyways, that brings me to the next little thing. It's the ridiculous evolution requirements for Pokemon. So much candy is required for this game. And why even candy? Like, Jesus, dude. Just give us one thing from the original games. Just name it levels. Hey, how about a kilometer per level? How about that, geniuses? Okay, sorry, I feel like I was a little bit mean there. But I feel like 1 level per kilometer is more than fair. So if you have a Gyarados that requires 100 candies, like, or whatever, to get to level 100 or whatever, you can, like, I don't even know how they would do this. Just have the level system go over 100. They're obviously not using it for battling anyways. Just have, like, a walking level. So, hey, my Gyarados is level 100 in walking level. It's evolving. Or my Magikarp, I mean, it's evolving into Gyarados. Cool. Problem solved. Like, the word candy just bugs me so much. Like, why candy? I don't know. It's a very minor nitpick, but I felt like the ratio to candy to walking was just so stupid, in my opinion. The last thing I wanted to talk about is that the rare Pokemon in this game are few and far between. Like, the reason I got so burnt out on this game so quickly is because anywhere I'd go, whether I'd go to visit my aunt and uncle, which live like an hour and a half away, or if I would go to Ohio, 4.5 hour trip if I went to Tennessee, all of these locations I went to, and I would always find the same thing. I would find either Pidgeys, Spearows, or I don't even know, like anything basic. Just think of anything basic, and that's what I would find in the game, which is super depressing because in a Pokemon game, I at least expect to find something a little bit different every time I play. Like whether it's a Chansey, or if it's a Jigglypuff, if it's a Marowak, or whatever it may be. I'm expecting to find something at least a little bit different. But like a year into this game, when all I do is turn on the game just to find something basic in front of me, it got tedious, and it never became fun for me. The only fun I had in this game is when my friends and I would get together and go on walks together. But I think talking to them was more fun than playing the game. Obviously, it would be, but I don't think I was ever really getting any fun out of the game. It was just an excuse to hang out with friends, which is fine and great, but I don't think this is a good game. I think it was doomed to fail from the start, just because Niantic is not, like, I don't want to say they're a bad company necessarily, because we haven't really heard too much about them, other than this experience that I'm aware of, and obviously had some success, because it became a very viral game, but I don't want people to mistake viral for good. You know what I mean? I think that there's definitely a lot of issues with this game, and I still have it installed on my phone, but I haven't opened it up in months, let alone played it in about probably a year, seriously. And I don't think that this is the game that we should be idolizing on YouTube and just let's playing and stuff. Like, hey, let's go play Pokemon Go. Obviously, it's died down a lot more, but, you know, the YouTube clickbait was another big thing that doomed this game. I don't want to usually say YouTube clickbait because, obviously, YouTube is like a thing that I've loved doing, and I've been doing it for 9 years. But let's be honest, we have a lot of YouTubers that clickbait the crap out of different games, and they lie and make up things, and it kind of ruins stuff because, like, oh my god, they're going to do something awesome. They're going to introduce a legendary Pokemon. Obviously, I know they've introduced legendaries, but it's usually a lot more trouble than it's worth. And this seems like the type of game that I think I would enjoy more if I lived in, like, downtown, like, Los Angeles, or a big city type setting where there actually are a lot of people. But a little rural town in Michigan, it just wasn't the game for me. And honestly, I don't know if it's the game for a lot of you people out there, but I want to know in the comment section down below in this video. This video is going to be a little bit longer than normal, but I do have a lot of ideas for different videos, so I'm bringing them to you guys step by step, piece by piece, and I hope you guys are enjoying them. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Keep calm and trust your instincts, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.